in the heck am I getting in here? Blocking the entire road, which is not ideal either, but oh, Lance is moving that bale. That's what's going on. What did we do? I know we stacked it before, but
it's actually a lot wider than our.
I don't remember. 2 and 1, and then 5, and then 2 and 1. Just go.
Okay.
We're picking up some square bales in this video. I'm going to talk more about that and tell you why here in just a second, but we did have a little bit of a hiccup out here today.
Blake. Engine temperature hot.
What?
Engine temperature hot. It just threw up a code.
Ooh. Yep, shut it down. Just a handful, over 100 bales on the back, and we've been out here for what? Call it an hour we've been out here. And in that time, this thing says it hit 242 degrees. We haven't even done anything. 78, 88, 98. We're like, what, 104, 105 right here?
So off to a great start, right? The Ram thought it overheated. We let it sit and cool off for a few minutes, started it back up. The temp dropped right back down where it was supposed to be. It hasn't done it since, but I do have an appointment to take it in and get it checked out just in case. I know a couple of people have mentioned some kind of water pump recall to me about this. I don't think mine is affected, but like I said, I have an appointment with the dealer to get it in and get it looked at. So we square baled this field for 2 reasons. One reason is about 1/3 to a half of this field was really nice, really clean hay that we sold to a gentleman who wanted small squares for his horses. And the other reason we square baled this field is because we were on a timeline to get this field put up, which I'll talk more about in just a second. But at the time we had to bale this field, we did not yet own the Massey Ferguson 1135 that you guys saw in a video last week. So if we had round baled this field, we would not have had any way to load those bales out of the field onto the trailer. At least doing the entire field in small squares, picking them up really isn't anybody's favorite job, but you can do it. There are a few ways you can do it that mechanize the process a little bit and do make it a little less human labor intensive. You could run an accumulator and a grapple setup. You could run a self-propelled stack wagon or a pull-type stack wagon. Let's talk a little bit about the hay business and why I said we had a timeline earlier. A lot of our hay properties, not all of them, but a good number of them are kind of in more developed areas, and when we make deals with landowners to come in and hay their property, they'll oftentimes want to, they want to make sure it's going to be cut by whatever date because they may have something planned or, they want their yard to be cut and look nice, which everybody can understand that. Unfortunately, sometimes depending on the weather and whether or not we get the amount of rain we need when we need it, that can put us at a bit of a disadvantage for hay production because the field might not be as ready as we would like it to be. But, you make an agreement and you abide by that and move forward. We did have a timeline where we had to get this stuff up and get it moved, and at that time we did not have any way of loading round bales. That wasn't really an issue on this property. The hay was pretty nice. Like I said, we sold approximately 1/3 of it as small squares, as good, clean horse hay. And so the quality is decent, even if it really didn't produce the quantity that we would like. But out here where we are, you're not going to get quantity unless you can irrigate. We simply don't get the rainfall. And because the majority of our hay properties don't have any running water on them like a creek or a river or anything like that, it's just literally not possible for us to irrigate. The state controls all aquifer-sourced irrigation, and because this is really a residential or, increasingly residential area, I should say, they're not going to give us a permit to do that, and even if they were, we can't make the investment of drilling a well on property we don't own. Wells in this particular area run on average like 600 to 700 feet, and you're talking $20,000, if not more, to put one of those in. So irrigation where we are is not going to happen. That's one reason we're always looking, like most farmers and ranchers, we're almost always looking for more ground somewhere, even if it does mean a little bit of travel for us to get there. Probably our biggest efficiency loss at this point is transport. Because we run on a couple of different properties that are not all right together, we spend a lot of time moving stuff from point A to point B. Like where the cows are on summer pasture is 60 miles to the west of me, and where they're going to be going for the winter, where this hay is needed, is about 60 miles to the east of me. So transportation is definitely a big efficiency loss for us. It eats up a lot of time, it eats up a lot of energy, it eats up a lot of fuel, and that stuff is not getting any cheaper. So we would like to cut down on the amount of transport we have to do, but really the only way to cut down on transport is to consolidate land. And consolidating land means it means giving up ground for sure that's too far away. But when you're trying to grow an operation, you really don't want to give up too much ground unless you can replace it with more in a better location. So that's just something we're looking into, at where is more land, or land that would work better, or land that would allow us to do more on it than what we can on these smaller properties. But that's just one of many things going on right now. I know several of you have asked me lately what was happening with the White Ram 2500 rebuild project. The last video I did on that was when we picked it up from having the frame repaired and we had the topper installed on it and we brought the truck home. Since then, our time has really been devoted to finding all the necessary parts. Now, we could have gone and bought brand new parts from a dealer or a parts store or something like that, but doing that is extremely expensive, and when you're looking for good used parts, it can be a little time consuming to find them in the right color, in good condition, for a reasonable price. But as luck would have it, we actually picked up what should be the last of these parts this week. There's a very real chance and a very good possibility we're going to have this truck back on the road and completed next week. Now, once we get it running and driving and back on the road, there are some additional things planned for it. It's going to be getting a K9 unit replacement for the rear seat and a full climate control system for the now enclosed bed with the topper on it, for working with dogs and being able to transport them safely regardless of the outside temperature. That's certainly not the only project I am just now finding time to get back to either, though. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen pictures the last couple of days as I've been putting the transmission back into the $500 Ranger. For those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, there's a link down in the description. I try to post a couple of pictures every day or every other day of just some random stuff that's going on. But I've got that truck just about completed, and when it gets done, I think my next project might be that 1965 Ford C600 cab-over truck you guys saw me bring in a couple of weeks ago. I have 6 new tires here ready to go on it. I need to pull the left drive tire off and fix the brakes in there. We've got a leaky wheel cylinder that's going to have to be repaired. And then I need to get a new switch for the 2-speed rear end. And then I think I am going to end up selling that truck. As cool as it is, it just doesn't really fill a need here on our operation right now. So it makes more sense to let it go on to someone else that can get a little more out of it than we can, and we can focus on some other things. There have been several questions about the Massey 1135 I brought in, and I should probably answer those too. One of the popular ones is, what horsepower is that tractor? And it is 120 horse at the PTO. And then several of you have commented on those extended axles. No, we are not going to be putting dual rear wheels on this tractor. We don't do anything that requires that, so there's no reason to add the cost or the wear or the increased fuel usage. And no, we are not going to be shortening the axle shafts either. They came the way they are from the factory, and if we ever wanted to sell this tractor down the road, or if we ever did get into anything requiring heavy tillage and duals, Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Besides, what are we going to do? Hang an extended axle shaft on a tree? That's been another popular comment lately, is the lack of trees in this general area. Yes, they can be grown here, but they require some extra attention. They got to be protected from the wind and they have to be watered extensively. So just on their own, trees do not do well here. It's something you have to intentionally plant and put some labor into and really focus on if you want to grow them, but it can be done. That's really going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to go check out our Bead Buster giveaway video. We're giving away 2 complete Bead Buster tool kits. And even if you don't win, there is a 10% discount code. Head over to beadbuster.com and use the discount code GUYNWY, just like my username here on YouTube. And that'll save you 10% off your purchase through the end of August 2018. So for tonight, let's just say thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and more later.
Hi, Z. Hi, Z.
That's the rule, right?
What Mike said, if you roll it, just make sure the GoPro's running.